Everyone, and welcome to tonight's Facebook Live. A little bit different on a Monday night. Tonight I've got with me my model here, and I'll be sharing with you a little bit about radio frequency, not just on the face, but also on how to treat skin laxity on the body. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. And before I go ahead and perform the treatment, my name is Nancy Abdou. I'm the CEO and founder of the Australian Dermal Laser Institute, where we bring you all sorts of training, any aesthetic device training, whether it be laser IPL, cryolipolysis, electrolysis, diathermy, epiblading, microdermabrasion, microneedling, and of course radiofrequency and electroporation. We come to you to your clinic to do face-to-face one-on-one training, or we can do a hybrid, we can take a hybrid approach where we can actually deliver the theory online and the practical, like I said, face-to-face. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes explaining what radio frequency is. I'm in a bit of an awkward position here, but I'm just going to lean over my model. Essentially, radio frequency has a positive and a negative depending on the device that you're using. It could be multiple positive and negative polarities. But if we have a look at this particular device here, which is the Apollo Duet, we can see it has multiple transducers. These are what we call interferential. So they're both positive and negative, and they oscillate, the energy oscillates between each transducer, creating a homogeneous heating. Homogeneous being a nice, consistent heating in the skin. Now, the depth of penetration will depend and vary depending on how far the transducers are. Now, this one here is roughly 2 centimeters apart, so your energy travels roughly 1 centimeter deep into the skin. Now, a few things will affect whether we get skin tightening or whether we get lipolysis, and that comes down to the temperature. So if we're reaching temperatures between 39 and no more than 42, we are actually getting skin tightening, remodel and regeneration, and of course plumping, lifting, and also anti-aging benefits of radio frequency. However, if we achieve temperatures of beyond 42 degrees, so between 42 and 46, we then get lipolysis, which is not great for the face because we're trying to keep the pockets of fat or the fat deposits in the face. We don't want to prematurely remove the fat in the face. So we're trying to keep within 39 and 41 degrees when we're treating the face and the body, depending what you're trying to achieve. Once again, if we're trying to achieve tightening for any part of the body, and that could be the stomach, it could be arms, knees, thighs, legs, anywhere. For skin tightening, again, it's between 39 and 42 degrees. And of course, if we're wanting to reduce pockets of fat, then we need to go beyond that 42 degree threshold. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see or hear, maybe one of the biggest concerns is a better word, is radio frequency has melted my fat. And it does, and it can do that, like I said, if you're going beyond that 42 degrees. If you're performing a BBL or a Brazilian bum lift, and we're not wanting to reduce fat in the buttocks, then of course we don't want to be going over the 42 degrees. We're wanting to stay between 39 and 41. That's really important. However, if you're wanting to reduce fat, then yes, by all means go over 42. So depending what you're trying to achieve with your radio frequency device will depend on how much energy, other way around, how much energy will be dependent on what you're trying to achieve. So keep that in mind. The other thing with radio frequency is sometimes they're monopolar, where you've got one pole and the client is either holding the a rod, so an earthing rod, or they've got a pad on their back. It could be multipolar, or it could be bipolar. In this instance, it truly is bipolar, but we call it multi because it's got more than the two polars, got multipoles, and so therefore it's delivering, like I said, homogeneous, consistent heating, where there's no arcing, no sparking, no chance of really grazing that skin when we put the applicator on the body or when we're lifting off. In addition, and not all devices have this, but in the middle here we have a thermometer, temperature control or sensor. And so this has multiple purposes. One, it actually gives us real-time feedback as to the skin's temperature. So we can't go over that threshold, whether it's 39 or 42. And also, it also ensures that we've got complete contact of the skin. And additionally, on top of that, it disallows or it stops the fluctuations of temperature. There's nothing worse than trying to perform a treatment and, you know, we have to keep stopping. And every time we stop, we find that that energy dips down, which means inconsistent results, or that temperature is collapsing. Then we try to build it up again, and then every time we take our applicator off, we find that the temperature collapses. So a built-in thermometer is amazing. If you don't have a built-in thermometer, then you'll need a surface thermometer. So not a body temperature thermometer, it has to be a surface thermometer where we're continuously assessing the surface temperature of the skin. Now, we're not trying to achieve heating of the surface of the skin, but the surface of the skin we know is going to be 3 degrees hotter, 3 degrees colder than our deeper layers. So we know when we're achieving between 39 and 41, in actual fact, we're 3 degrees higher at 41 and 44 degrees. So hopefully my maths is right. Never my strength. All right, so what we've put on our client or our model skin is initially some hyaluronic acid, so a Hyaglide. We know radio frequency, and in fact most technologies such as microcurrent and other devices such as HIFU and so forth work better when the skin is hydrated. So we want to prep the skin with some hyaluronic first, massage that in, and if you have an infusing device such as your electroporation or iontophoresis or sonophoresis, infuse that into the skin for better hydration and better energy penetration. So we'll put some of that on, followed that by our RF Glide. So RF Glide is a little bit different than your glycerine. Glycerine is quite liquid, it's quite watery. When we put it on the skin, it tends to run everywhere and melt, or if we're putting it, it's not actually right to be using it on the face, but if you are using a glycerine on the face, then it runs everywhere. Whereas with this, it is actually quite thick. Where you put it is where it stays. And it's got a great consistency. So I've put some on my client's stomach already. She doesn't really need tightening, but it's who I could get this time of the night. So we've just put a thin layer of that on her skin. And what we're going to do is we set up our device. So it is set on radio frequency. I've set it on level 6, which is the highest level to achieve that 39 to 42 degrees. And then what we'll do is let's start our device. And I'm going to just bring down my camera. There we go. Let's turn that on. And so because I'm off the skin, it's just beeping. It's telling me it's off the skin. But as soon as I make that contact, it stops beeping, and it'll keep heating up that skin. So initially, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to do really, really slow and deliberate circles. So we're really heating up the skin. So right now, my device is telling me that I'm on 33 degrees, which is way too low. And we'll keep creating these tiny little circles. The slower I move, the more heat we're pushing into the skin. Now here's the thing. I hear oftentimes people saying, oh, you want to reach your therapeutic endpoint really quickly. Imagine if you got yourself an iron and you placed that iron on someone's skin really quickly and then took it off. How deep is that energy going to be delivered into the skin? Whereas if I held the iron down a little bit longer, how much heat will penetrate deeper in the skin? So I don't necessarily want to achieve hot, 39 to 41 temperatures too fast. We want to get there nice and slowly, so all that energy is penetrating nice and deep. So we're now on 35 degrees. So I'm going to go just a little bit slower and do several passes to try to heat that up. If your area is too big, you'll never get to that ideal temperature. So you want your temperature, you want your treatment area size to be, I would say, probably about the size of your hand, not bigger than that, or no bigger than the size of half an A4, so an A5 piece of paper. And you want to be in there for approximately 10 minutes to get that dermal, well, not dermal, but collagen denaturation and heating. When you heat the collagen fibers, it's very similar to when you put your jeans in the dryer. What do you think happens? They shrink. And it's the same thing with our collagen fibers. We're heating them up in order to cause them to shrink. How's that feeling? Thumbs up? We got a thumbs up. Does it feel like a hot stone massage? Feels nice and warm. It's actually quite relaxing. So we're roughly on to up to 38, so we've got one more degree until we get into that therapeutic window. I'm just going to slow down a little bit more. How's that feeling? We're at 39 now, 40. There we go. Slower and the more passes, 41. All right. How's that feeling? Good. We're getting a nod. 39, 40, 39, 40. So now that we've hit that 39, 40 in that area, I'm going to see if we can get up to 41. Here we go, 41. So now that we're there, what I can do is I can go a little bit faster to maintain that temperature. Is that comfortable? You don't want to go too fast. If we go too fast, the temperature will drop. So just keep it going nice and slow. Every time I hit your bone, it beeps. You're too slim for this. What would help is you puff out your stomach just a little bit. Thank you. How's that? And we're sitting on an even 40 degrees. So you can combine this treatment with other treatments to get a greater efficacy, so a more effective treatment. You could do this first and follow it by, say, needling, or you could do IPL and follow it by radio frequency. You could do radio frequency and follow it by, well, actually probably do HIFU first. 4.5 on the face for the lax jowls. You could combine that with radio frequency and HIFU. RF is so versatile. You can combine it with many different devices, including microdermabrasion, LED, of course, to achieve different things on the face and the body. So it's not just for the body, it's for, not just for the face, I should say, it's for the body as well. Great for cellulite. It's great for knees, so those who complain of saggy knees, then it's good for saggy knees. It's good for your arms, or what some people refer to as tuck shop arms. What else? We've got neck. So anyone with a lax neck, this would be great for a lax neck. In terms of treatment, we always say it's about 6 to 10 treatments and spaced. Some manufacturers will say 1 week apart, some will say 2 weeks apart. But of course it comes down to budget and you know how much time you and your client have. But 1 to 2 weeks is fine. So right now we're on that 39 degrees. It's not arcing, not sparking. Your ultrasound gel is not a great conductor or medium to use with radio frequency. Glycerine is the best of the conductors as it insulates the top layer of the skin and ensures all the energy travels down, whereas conductive gel does that, it conducts. And so you don't want the energy to be going across the gel, you want the energy to travel down into the skin. You can see she's not all that red, even though we're sitting on 40 degrees. So, is that comfortable? Yep, good. Alright, just bring that camera back up towards me and I'll keep going. Alright, hello Ada, how you going? A long time, huh? Good to see you on here. So there you go, that's radio frequency. You can also combine this with electroporation. If you have the Apollo Duet, that's a device that has both hot-cold electroporation in it. And what electroporation does is it creates tiny little pores in the cell to allow for better uptake of product. So it's FDA cleared for drug delivery into, or should I say, a transdermal drug delivery, so product delivery into the skin without needles. So if you've got clients who are scared of needling, or if you don't want to provide needling, as much as I love it, there's an alternative, which is your electroporation. And that's another applicator that looks slightly different. And that applicator has both hot and cold applications. So the cold to help with, you know, bring about cold shock proteins, which is going to help with regeneration, circulation, inflammation. And then if we put it on hot, it's heating the skin from the outside in rather than the inside out. So RF heats the skin from the inside out, whereas your electroporation applicator heats the skin from the outside in, which enables higher delivery of the serums. And my model's actually fallen asleep. Alright, so that's sitting on 39, no hot spots, no arcing, no sparking, and that's because we've got more than one pole in this applicator. So if I lift off, she's not going to get any arcing. If I put it back on, she doesn't get sparking. So there you go, that's radio frequency. Once we've done this side, then I can move on to my other side over there, and that was nearly 10 minutes there. Quite a comfortable treatment. Clients tend to fall asleep in the middle of it. You know, you can, like I said, the face can be easily done, easily treated, and the results are quite amazing. Downtime, anywhere from 1 to 3 hours, a little bit of erythema, but really that's it. The next day they can go back to work, put makeup on, and in fact it's a great lunchtime treatment because they can go straight to work straight away, because we're not penetrating the skin, we're not causing a lot of trauma, there isn't any swelling associated with this. So that's 10 minutes done on that side. I'll continue the other side later. So that is radio frequency for you on a Monday night. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. And like I said, this is great, not just for lax skin or for pockets of fat, but it's great for cellulite, it's great for collagen remodeling. People have to be, your clients have to be a little bit patient in that it takes roughly 90 days for collagen to mature, from collagen type 3 to collagen type 1. You know, it just allows the collagen to cross-link itself as it matures. It becomes, instead of a single helix, it becomes a triple helix. So it's nice, it's strong, and also, it just shows up in the skin after that 3-month period. Remember, during that 3 month of maturation, the skin needs all the energy, all the nutrition, all the hydration it can get. So make sure your clients are on either a zinc, a magnesium, an N-acetylcysteine will help, including essential fatty acids and skincare. So of course, by the time we've reached a certain age, there's a slowdown also of your ATP, adenylyl triphosphate, which is why LED 3 months post any treatment is going to be really important to ensure the efficacy of your clients' results. So there you go. I will see you all again in a couple more days. So next Wednesday night, or this Wednesday night rather, for more tips and tricks on all sorts aesthetic device related. Have a great night. I hope you enjoyed that. See you.